This little joker, auto broker, coming to you from the great state of Florida. And today, I am going to show you how to buy a car for less than $5,000. So, let's get started. I have been in sales since I was 11 years old. I sold newspapers on my bicycle. I had a paper route and I made a nickel a paper. I have been a licensed dealer in the state of Florida for 14 years. Been buying and selling cars the entire time, and I bought and sold thousands of cars during that time period. So that's enough about me. You're here to buy a car for less than $5,000, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. 1 in 6 Americans is paying a car note of $1,000 or more in the U.S. You're buying it at about 10% of the original purchase price. The average new car cost in America is about $50,000. The average new car payment in America is about $738 for a new car. For a used car, the average cost per month is $532 per month. So you have to keep that in mind, that you're buying something for less than 10% of its original purchase price. The correct way to buy a car for $5,000 or less is to have your money in hand and to be ready to purchase it as soon as you find it online. You can buy the vehicle from either a dealer or a private seller. The common denominator in both of these is when you buy a car at that price, you get what we call a 30-30 warranty, which is 30 seconds or 30 feet. Now, the most important thing to remember when you're buying a car and after you make contact with the seller, you want to clearly operate out of the spirit of love. You do not want to offer a lowball price for the vehicle sight unseen. This is a huge turnoff for the seller, and it's highly unlikely that they are going to sell you the vehicle when you do that. Now, you want to do a little bit of research on the vehicle that you're going to purchase. Let me give an example. Once you type in Florida VIN Check on Google, the first one that pops up is the DMV official site. So what I do is I click on that, and then you hit continue. Now what this does is, this shows you the VIN number of the vehicle, the year, the make. It shows you that the title's good. It shows you the date that the title was issued. It gives you the odometer reading and the date of the odometer reading. This was actual mileage. It's a Florida paper title. It doesn't show that it's what we call a branded title, which is a salvage or a rebuilt title. It will indicate that on the salvage area. There are no active liens on this vehicle. There are no brands. A branded title, once again, shows that it's rebuilt or or it's an insurance loss. And you also want to make sure that you look at the title issue date. And then, now this shows that it has 2 different crashes on it, so that shows you everything that you need to know about the vehicle. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to inspect a vehicle, and you will know more than 90% of all people that inspect a vehicle. The most important thing on an engine is the oil that is in the engine. That is the blood of the vehicle. Without that, the car dies. What to look at is the oil dipstick, which is located right here. You have to check on the car and see where it's located. So the first thing you do is you wipe the dipstick clean. Now you want to see, as you can tell, this dipstick is very clean. So that's a good sign. That will tell you that oil changes were done regularly, and that it was probably taken care of. When the dipstick is dirty, that's a sign that the oil hasn't been changed. Something else that's very important When you pull the dipstick out, if it looks like a milkshake, that means that the water mixed in with the oil and it probably has a blown head gasket, okay? So basically you want to stick the dipstick back in. Now if you pull out a dipstick and there's no oil on the dipstick at all, that's a very bad sign. If there's no oil in it, it will destroy the motor and the engine will make a lot of noise. So it's very important that there's oil in the vehicle on the dipstick. That's very important. The second most important thing you want to look at on a vehicle is the coolant. The engine's cold when you open up. This is where the coolant is. A lot of radiators are on the front, and the coolant knob is on the top. But on this particular model here, all you do is you take that off. Now I'm going to look in here, and the coolant in here is green, and it's filled up to where it properly is, to where it's cold at. You want to make sure the coolant is clean. If it has oil in it, if it has a blown head gasket, it'll have a milkshake look on it. What are the codes? The codes are, when the check engine light comes on in the car, it'll have a code. You need this, it's very easy. These scanners cost about 40 bucks. And it'll tell you what the code is. Once it tells you the code, you just Google 2003 Lincoln Navigator, and then you put engine code and then whatever code it says on it. And that'll tell you what the code is, and then it'll also explain to you what it can and might be. So you want to be careful with the codes to make sure that it's not anything serious. You also want to look at the undercarriage of the vehicle to make sure that it doesn't have rust or any major oil leaks. Once again, this is what I think of the car history report. Do not listen to any animated flying squirrels on TV. This is what I think you should do with the car history report.